Thank you everyone for being here on this Monday Reset call. This is going to be a really special one. As I shared in the messaging I sent out, thankfully I had some miracles happen last week that kind of moved perfectly in the direction of me being able to join a mentorship program that I was actually invited to be a part of last year around this time. And at the time, it didn't make sense with the role that I was in. And now it makes perfect sense. And I felt like it was perfect timing that God was like, you have to be a part of this. I wasn't sure how I was going to make it happen all the way up until last Monday when the actual event was last Wednesday and Thursday, the initial event for like a year-long mentorship program with John Maxwell and Dianna Kokoska and a few other amazing leaders in our world. And last Monday, a really interesting thing happened. Someone asked me if they could pay for their elite level coaching in November in advance, and it made it possible for me to join it. So I was able to book a flight from the class I was teaching in New Jersey, reroute it to go to Atlanta instead of home, and go sit down and be in front of John Maxwell, sitting at a table right in front of him Thursday morning for 3 hours with him only focusing on answering the questions of the people in the room. And not only was it him answering, he also had his current CEO of Maxwell Leadership, Mark Cole, who he personally apprenticed through his whole journey. And interestingly enough, Mark actually joined his company when he had some transition professionally and had no previous professional C-level experience before joining his company. And John Maxwell actually coached him up into this position. And he's so trusted and so amazing that he put him into the CEO role when he stepped to the side to continue being the creative and the visionary. So that just kind of gives you an idea of how that happened. So for everyone who is currently hiring or already has hired or leads people or partners with people, I want you to think about, how does that look for you, right? John actually took this person who was coachable and values alignment and grew them into his right-hand person because of the way that he personally developed them and because of how coachable they were and how much they were willing to learn from their blind spots and accept his coaching and development. So that's just a really good thing for everyone to think about as you are considering who your person or people are in the businesses that you're growing, whether it's now or in the future. Okay, I'm going to get into what you came for today. Remember, these are highly interactive, so as it is possible for you, make sure you come off mute, make sure you respond in the chat. This is always intended to be a mastermind environment, and that happens because of the greatness of the people that are here. It's never about me in the Legacy Collaborative, and it's all about you and how you grow as a leader. So I'm just going to start sharing all of this, and also let me get you the document for all of you guys to take notes in. I just shared it in the chat, so you can select that. It already has a document ready for you to fill out with your particular notes and the takeaways that you're going to take action on as a result of this. Let me know if you guys got it, and then I'm going to move on. I just want to make sure that it's accessible to everyone. Did it work when you clicked on it? If someone gives me a thumbs up, then I'm going to keep going. Yes? Okay, awesome. It's working. That is great. Okay. So remember, who here, raise your hand if you already know who John Maxwell is. Idea? A little bit? Okay. John Maxwell is the most known leader that does books and classes. He's the most known person that speaks and writes on the topic of leadership in the world. He has written 97 books. He has also created a program called Change Your World where he instills, hi Leslie, where he instills values inside environments all over the world. So if you haven't already gotten one of his books, there are several you can get, and I would highly recommend the book Change Your World because it helps you walk through the core values that he actually is traveling the world and instilling. He's already had the opportunity to meet with leadership of 15 different countries other than leaders in the United States and equip them and the leaders that work with them with these values to help completely transform the way different communities are being led and help people value each other at a high level. So that just gives you a little bit of an example of some of the things that he does. He's been on my list of people that I wanted to have time with or do lunch with for about 9 years. I got to have lunch with him in a large group setting for the first time 8 years ago. And then Dianna Kokoska, who's one of my key mentors in life, had an event in Nashville last year early, and I went to that and got time with him in a VIP group setting. And now I'm in this mentorship program with him, and I'm super grateful for it. So one of the things I'll have you take away from that is, as you're planning your 2026, I want you to write down the 2 or 3 people that you never thought you could have time with that are still living, that are core people. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be for a personal reason or a business reason. Write down the people that you'd really like to have time with that are a bucket list item. Because the same year I wrote it down on a piece of paper, even though it was in my head previous to that, it happened that year. So I want you to write down your people. And then I want you to celebrate with me. Send me a message when you get to have time with that person, because it will happen. And remember, the more people you share that with, you might actually share it with someone that already knows them. Okay, leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And a lot of times when we hear the word influence, we think people are being prideful or self-centered, but actually every single one of you is a leader and influences people every day. Do you know that? I know Leslie does. So Leslie actually, I'm so glad she was able to be on. She actually leads the office I was able to teach at on Wednesday before I was with them on Thursday morning. So I'm really grateful that she's here. And she does a great job of influencing her agents to grow amazing businesses and lives in her office. But all of you are around people inside your home and outside your home every day. And so you are leading them and you are influencing them. You just have to decide, what kind of impact are you going to make with your leadership? So during the time that I've learned from John, I've discovered that great leaders don't chase titles. They build people, multiply impact, and live from alignment. These 10 principles are not theory at all. He's studied leadership and he's been a leader for many, many years. They're the result of years of observation, growth, failure, and refinement. And it takes all of those. He just fails faster than a lot of us. That's how he's grown. He has 59,000 coaches in his organization. These are lessons that some of them I already have read in his books, and some of them last week was the first time I've ever heard them. They shape how I lead, love, and build legacy, and what I work on with the coaching clients and the people inside the Legacy Collaborative and any classes that I teach. Each principle that I'm going to share today shares a truth that leadership starts with who we are, not what we do. So write that down. My leadership starts with who I am, not what I do. A lot of times we think we need to do something or take an action, and that's going to cause us to become someone. And it can over time. The most important thing is be really clear on, who do I choose to be? When our faith grounds us and our values guide us, our leadership becomes a reflection of the life God has created us to live. Okay, so that was just a little intro before I get into these 10 principles that you're going to take notes on. What are the couple of things that stood out to you for your business or life in just that short introduction?
I think I love how you want us to kind of intentionally think about the people that we want to meet or spend time with. To kind of manifest that a little bit. And I haven't written the names down yet, but I'm just thinking, I'm like, who do I need to meet? It's good to have those guides in your life. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. Who else? One more person.
I'm really bad on putting titles on books and the principles that I learned. So it may not have come from the irrefutable laws of leadership, but I think it might have come from 360 Leadership.
I love that book. Yeah, 360-degree leader.
Yes. So that's, I think when you talk about leadership, start on who you are and not what you do, that's a perfect example of that, right? Because if it has to do with the title, it's not it. So you can lead from anywhere in the organization, and also in your life as well, your children, your friends, family, and all that stuff. So that just reminded me of that.
That's such a great point. That's I would say that's probably one of the first 3 books I read of his early on. So that's a great point. 360-degree Leader is an excellent book about how to lead from any place. It doesn't matter what your title is, and how to make an impact from any place. So I love that one. Anybody else have a burning desire to share before I move into the first principle? Okay, don't worry, you'll all get a turn, so get ready. All right, number 1. People before position. True leadership starts with valuing people over power. Titles might open doors, but connection builds trust, and trust builds everything else. So if you were drawing that out in your notes, remember, connection first with people builds trust, and trust builds everything else. And let's talk about, how do you build trust with people? This shouldn't be unique. And sometimes it can be, and it will set you apart. So how do you build trust with people? That's an open question. It's not in my notes.
Do what you say you're going to do.
Yes, Treva, thank you. It should not be unique, and yet it can be, right? Yes, Nicole, accountability. So same thing. You say something, you follow through. You say something, you follow through. If you don't follow through, you respect and care enough about the person that you say something that you didn't follow through and you care about making it right. It doesn't make anyone perfect, but you actually just follow through on what you say you're going to do. Yes? Anybody else? How does someone build trust with you?
I think for me, because I show up as a high D, one of the challenges I have is to have people know that I actually care. I don't think anybody wants you to get involved in their lives or know if they don't have the feeling that you actually care about them.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so good. So how do you do that being a high D? How do you show them? Because I could tell that you care about people when I was in your presence and when I've seen you before. What are some practical ways that you apply that?
Well, we have I actually do call our agents weekly, a group of them, and just to see how they're doing and talk about anything that they're having challenges with. And sometimes I actually talk about their lives, not about their business. And I got a real backhanded compliment. One agent said, "Oh my God, you're real nice." Like, obviously they didn't think I was before. So that helps because you're talking to them about their lives and their situations, what's going on. Yeah.
I love that. So that's going to feed right into alignment with what my notes are on this specific topic as John and Mark spoke about it. So here are 3 specific ways everybody on here can show up. Number 1, serve before you expect to be served. Number 2, listen before you speak, which is what you're describing, Leslie, right? Just being consistent with that. Number 3, lead with heart before strategy. So always consider where people are coming from, meet them where they are, truly come from an empathetic place to understand exactly what's going on before strategy, right? It's tempting when you're building a business to lead with strategy, but you could have a complete list of amazing strategies that are wrong for the people you're serving if you don't understand where they're coming from first. The key insight that he shared around this is the highest form of leadership is influence rooted in love and authenticity. People don't follow your title, they follow your consistency, your integrity, and your heart. Okay, let's go ahead and look at your number 1, because we know everyone here is going to have 100 on their homework. So what are you guys writing down for the first principle for yourself? What's your action step based on where you are in your life or business? And I'll have 3 people share, and then we'll move on to number 2.
Sorry, Sandra, are we picking one of those things?
So it could be one of those things specifically, or it could have helped you think about something in alignment with that or in alignment with this topic that works for you. It doesn't have to be worded exactly that way. It's just, what is your action step around this topic in your business or life? Nicole wrote accountability. She wrote, listen before you speak. I try to practice this, but have to catch myself sometimes. I totally get that. So that's a really good one. 2 more people share, please.
Hey, Sandra.
Hi
Okay.
there. How are you, Kim?
How are you?
Great.
Let me get out of this one. There we are in my house. Okay. I think real estate is such a prime example of this. I know you coach other people, but we work and we work and we work sometimes and serve and serve and serve. And sometimes there's nothing to show for it. The closing falls apart. It just doesn't work out. And you just I think your mindset has to always be in a servant attitude, because otherwise you can get really frustrated when you pour out your heart and do all this work and you don't have anything to show for it, tangible anyway. Your bank account didn't increase or something like that or something. And you just have to be at peace with that. And people will ask me, they'll say, I'm like, yeah, we don't get paid until we actually close a transaction. Do you realize that? And they're like, well, how do you do that? I'm like, you have to be at peace with that, because if not, you'll drive yourself crazy, right? I mean, it's not go to work, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and you get this paycheck. It's just not like that. And I think the more you take to heart that you have to serve people, it's not about you. It's not about us, right? It's totally about, and then people will come to you, I just think that's true. It just today that happened, with me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Congratulations and welcome, Kim. So this is Kim's first time being on here. Kim and her
Yes.
husband,
Mhm.
Kim actually is a realtor, and her husband has a really amazing measurement company that's local, but eventually we'll
Mhm.
expand it out to a lot of the locations the Legacy Collaborative is in after we build the foundation. And
Mhm.
they are actually elite coaching clients with me. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me. I've known about it for a couple Mondays and I just didn't have on my calendar. And I was like, thank you for sending that. So I made it a point to be here.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, one more person. What's your action item here?
Sandra, I like the lead with strategy. I agree with all the other ones too. Like it's all of them, but
Lead with heart.
yeah, I wrote down lead with strategy. So I guess
Yeah.
so I was trying to write all of it down as fast as I could. But yeah, no, I love that lead with heart. That's even better. But it made me think of, just not going off half cocked, like have a plan and not like just burn a bunch of energy, go without like taking a moment to look at where you are going, so that you're trying to conserve your energy. Because, like Kim was just saying, like we work and work and work and work and work. And it's like, but what are you working on?
And who are you working to serve?
Energy going. Yeah.
And
Exactly.
what do they need? And how can you actually give them exactly what they need versus random strategies that you see the next person doing that your people might not need?
Yeah.
So good. All right. Did everyone minimally get an action item written down, even if you didn't speak up? Yes? Thumbs up? Physical or digital? Okay. Number 2, growth over comfort. Growth and comfort cannot coexist. Growth and comfort cannot coexist. Now, growth and joy can coexist. People get these confused, right? So you don't have to go do the things that someone else is great at for you to grow. You do have to do more things that you haven't done before and think differently and be a different version of you by 1% over time, which doesn't mean you have to be miserable. Just means you have to get out of your comfort zone. Every breakthrough demands tension, the stretching that builds strength. The pain of growth is always smaller than the pain of staying the same. You just choose your pain. You can choose to stay the same and hit your head against the ceiling, or you can choose that you're going to grow, which takes effort, but it's exciting on the other side, right? When you stop growing, you start drifting. Growth requires surrendering ego and embracing feedback. They talked a lot about ego. And how to surrender it and be open-minded to other people's perspectives of you. One of the things that he said that I thought was interesting is there's no such thing as self-awareness. There's only the awareness of what other people have shared with you you are like. So when you open yourself up to other people's perspectives, that's how you grow self-awareness, right? So you haven't all of a sudden understood how you show up to people without them telling you that. So invite people into your life for them to speak life into you and for them to help you grow and understand how you show up. He's very intentional about that. The key insight around this one was growth isn't a season, it's a discipline. So you don't just grow one time and now you've arrived. True leaders remain students, never experts. And they actually gave an example of how he doesn't even know how to turn his phone on sometimes, but now that they've introduced him to AI and he's heard so many different people speak about how it's going to change everything, kind of like the internet did, now they can't get John off of AI, even though he can't turn his phone on sometimes. So that just gives you a little bit of an example of how you identify where it's important to be a student as you grow. The takeaway for this one is comfort is the enemy of legacy. Comfort refines the leader God created you to become. All right, what are your biggest takeaways from that one or your action items? And we'll have 3 people share.
I think comfort is the enemy of a lot of things, right? Not just legacy, but growth, right? Comfort is a great place to be, but no growth actually happens there, right? So I never heard of putting it was the enemy of legacy, but I've definitely experienced it for growth in particular.
Thank you. It's so true. We can't be reminded of that enough. Okay, one more person. Nicole wrote, true leaders remain students, never experts. I love that. Always have the mindset of a student, and that's how we grow. Okay? One more person.
Just quickly, I've always heard too, if you're not progressing, you're regressing.
Yes,
You're
either growing or you're dying.
Yep. And then we get comfortable and then also we have to catch ourselves a month or 2 later, like, wait a second, what just happened? Yep. And then it's constant. It's like a daily, almost like a minute by minute thing to be reminded of that all the time. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you. Pamela?
Add something?
Yes.
I remember hearing that not you refusing to change is because everything around you changes. So even if you stick to the same strategies, the market changes, the people change, they will.
Oh, we lost her. I think what she was saying is that when you refuse to change when everything else around you changes, then it all passes you by or something similar. But if she jumps back on, we'll let her finish her sentence. Okay. Number 3. And did you guys all get an action item out of number 2 for yourself? I just want to make sure. So whether it is a mentor, a class, whatever it is, take an action, get out of your comfort zone in an area you've been hesitating until you got this 10,000th reminder that nothing great happens in your comfort zone, right? And then Britt wrote, the pain of growth is smaller than the pain of staying the same. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Number 3, vision creates velocity. A leader's clarity creates collective movement. So your clarity, you're the leader we're speaking to here. Okay. So a leader's clarity creates collective movement. When vision is clear, decisions become simple and energy flows in the same direction. Confused vision drains momentum. Clarity multiplies confidence, and vision must be revisited often, otherwise it fades under the noise of distraction. Does anyone need me to repeat one of those? Because I know I read them kind of fast. Confused vision drains momentum. Clarity multiplies confidence. Vision must be revisited often, otherwise it fades under the noise of distraction. And the key insight when they were talking about this one is vision is the compass of leadership. It turns potential into progress. Every human being has a unique gift of potential. Would you agree? Everybody. Everyone has gifts inside of them. And yet without a clear vision of how they're going to use those gifts, they don't make progress towards everything God created them to be. The key takeaway in this section was when you lose sight of your why or your vision, you lose the will to lead. So I don't know if any of you guys know people who experienced really great success at one point in their life. And then before they had any like real, tangible, visible reason, they kind of lost track of that or fell off of that. And many times it's because they didn't reset their vision or their why, and they don't have habits for them to consistently dive into what that is for this point in their journey in their life, right? Okay, what stands out to you for number 3? We'll have 3 people share, and then we're going to move on to number 4. Hi, Brittany. I'm so happy you're here. Hi, Tasha.
Hi.
What did you write down? What stands out for you? What is your action based on this one? I promise they were talking before y'all jumped on. Okay, no one needs vision here. Everyone's clear, right? Well, I'll just share with all of you that one of the habits that I have every single year is in September to just get really crystal clear on what my vision is for the next year, even if changes happen differently in that year than planned. And that happened a lot for most people this year, whether it was personal, business, industry, the world. And the more often you revisit your vision and keep it in front of you, the more likely you're going to actually achieve that vision. And you can help people around you get redirected back on their vision again. Thank you, Nicole. Nicole wrote, keeping clarity in your vision and goals is integral for achieving them, right? And we talk about big why a lot in this world. So maybe that's something you guys just already felt really well versed at. Make sure you write your action item down, and we're going to move into number 4. And then if someone will make sure to add that document back into the chat so the ladies who have joined us can have it, that would be amazing. All right, number 4, faith anchors focus. In uncertain seasons, faith is what steadies the leader. Leadership rooted in faith builds endurance because trust in God gives peace when results don't yet make sense.
You read the first sentence in that, please?
Yes, ma'am. In uncertain seasons, faith is what steadies the leader. Leadership rooted in faith builds endurance because trust in God gives peace when results don't yet make sense. And a few of the things that were talked about under this one are when you lead from peace, not pressure, people follow differently, right? So even if we have any anxiety or fears or anything underneath for us, our opportunity is to lean into God, work through those, and show up at a high level for our people, so that we can lock arms with them and help them move forward and stay focused on their vision. Number 2, faith keeps you grounded when outcomes are outside your control. Number 3, leaders who trust God can lead others through storms with calm confidence. Do you know why? Because we've been there before. We know what the storms look like, and we understand clearly that He got us on the other side of it over and over and over again. And we can help other people reflect on that. Yes, I'll repeat number 3. Thank you, Leska. Number 3, leaders who trust God can lead others through storms with calm confidence. That goes for your clients, that goes for your children, that goes for your friends. Think about how you are leading others with calm confidence when they have every other reason to get distracted and not have the faith that they're going to be able to move through whatever you're helping them with. The key insight here is faith is not passive. It's the most powerful strategy for sustainable leadership. And the takeaway is faith doesn't remove the challenge. It redefines how you move through it, right? The challenges will still come for all of us and for all the people that we serve inside and outside our home. And our faith just determines how we move through it. Okay, what were your takeaways and what is your action for that one?
I actually think that when we're in the middle of challenging situations, that it might be helpful to pray before you go out and start, panicking everyone or showing up in a frenzy, because you have to be there before you actually go and try to speak to the team or to the people that you're leading.
Yes, I love that. That's such a good practice to have before any challenging thing. So good. 2 more people?
Well, one thing you got to do is you got to have confidence in your abilities. So when you, and not discount what you said, and definitely, you pray on it or whatever you need to do. But when you know what your job is, don't let your emotions flip you out when something doesn't go right. Just take a step back a minute. All right, what we got to do to fix it? And you have people to rely on to back you up. So you're not by yourself, Like I said, you got God at the head of you, but you still got other people behind you too that can
That he placed on your path.
help you, help you through it in any situations. Don't freak out every time something doesn't go right. When people will key in on that when you're, things go sideways, they'll see when you're steady, they'll be steady.
That's exactly right. They'll lean on you. Thank you for that. One more person. Okay, Nicole typed in here, in my former career, leading from peace and not pressure got my team through the toughest times and we prospered after. People look for knowledge and guidance from their leaders. And remember, we reminded everyone at the beginning, you are leading people inside your home, outside your home, your clients, your vendors. You are leading everyone that you're around physically and everyone that you communicate with every day. All right, did you guys get an action item written down for yourself there? Whether it's praying, leaning into the people around you, leaning into the word, whatever it needs to be, it's your opportunity to make sure that first things are first, always, right? Number 5, communication is connection. Leadership rises or falls on communication. It's not about talking more, it's about connecting deeper. So always thinking about, am I talking or connecting? Speak to people's hearts, not just their heads. Number 2, use stories, not just statements. Stories create meaning. Number 3, create safe spaces for dialogue, not monologues. And then the key insight here is people don't remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel seen and understood. And the takeaway is connection creates commitment. When people feel known, they'll go further than they ever imagined. All right, what do you guys think about that? He has a book specifically around this one, Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. So if you're thinking about communication being an area you'd like to improve in, that's a great book to pick up.
I think it's so important, like for realtors in general, because we're all chatterboxes. People that are good at real estate are typically very social. And so it's such a relevant thing to constantly be reminded. I love what you said, like create dialogues, not monologues.
Yes.
And a trick that helped me that probably everyone's heard before is the Ford.
Yes.
Family, occupation,
recreation.
Because it's so quick and short, and then it helps you kind of pause, and it can be whatever, but I think that's really important.
Thank you for saying that. And I'll share with you, I had a 90-minute conversation with Ben Kinney one time. And one of the most impactful parts of that conversation was he repeated back to me all of the things that I had shared with him about myself after he was asking about me. And he shared with me that he used to be someone that spoke on top of people as well, just like most people in the real estate industry. And the way that he stopped it was every time he started talking to someone, whether he was taking notes in his phone because it was just in a casual setting, or whether he was on the phone or on a Zoom, he always grabs a pen or he always has his notes and he just starts writing. Because most of the time, what causes us to talk on top of people is that we don't want to forget the thought we had. And if we're just writing it down and writing down what they're saying, we're more present in the conversation. And then there's always the WAIT acronym. Why am I talking? right? That all of us can practice.
That is genius.
And you can just write it on the corner of your paper. Leska, yes. The first one was speak to people's hearts, not just their heads. Okay. One or two more people around this one. What is your action item around ensuring that you're connecting with people, not just communicating?
I think active listening is a skill that I know I haven't even scratched the surface on. And anytime I'm thinking about a response, that means I'm not really listening. So that's really my action item, is to practice active listening and to really understand what the person is really saying. Because sometimes, especially if it's a complaint, the response is to be defensive instead of addressing what the person might be feeling, or the hurt, or whatever. That's a huge one for me.
That's so great. Two of the things that I practice all the time, because I'm a work in progress there as well, Leslie, is coming from curiosity and asking more questions to ensure that we're helping us and them actually understand what problem they have, because they might have a surface level complaint and what's really important is something totally different. I'm sure you've experienced that before. And also listening between the lines. That was one of the biggest things that Mike Bastian, who used to be overall leadership coaches for MAPS when I was a MAPS coach for 5 years, would always say is listen between the lines, because most of the time when someone's in a negative place, what's actually happening is far different than what they're communicating. And when we do that, it causes them to be truly connected to us because we care about what's going on for them. One more person.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was just gonna say it's almost the situation where couples are fighting over the cap on the toothpaste, when that's really not the problem, right?
Just one more thing to look for as reasons why we're mad at that person right now. That's so true, Leslie. The cap on the toothpaste is serious, or the way that you push the toothpaste through the tube. Anybody else? All right, Treva, practicing the pause when having conversations. Stop rushing. Yes. What's interesting when there's conflict, I'm sure you guys have seen this too, is when you actually pause in the conversation, many times the person will resolve their own issue without you having to jump in, because they can pause and slow down and self-reflect too, instead of us just getting in there with them, getting in the mud with them by being responsive. Okay, did you guys all get an action item around this one? Okay, awesome. We're gonna go to number 6. Lead yourself through the eyes of others. There's no such thing as pure self-awareness, only what others have helped you become aware of. You can't see your own blind spots, and that's why great leaders surround themselves with truth tellers. And that's what John spent a lot of time on. Who have you invited into your life, by the way, that you trust their opinion? This is not invite people into your life that are naturally picking at you or trying to tear you down. Who do you really respect and trust their opinion, and you're inviting them into your lives to tell you the truth in areas you need it. Leadership begins when you invite feedback, reflection, and accountability. It's not about being perfect, it's about being open. You can't grow what you won't see. You can't see what you won't ask about. And you can't change what you won't take responsibility for. The key insight on this one is feedback is the mirror that helps you lead yourself better. And the takeaway was great leaders don't just lead themselves, they allow others to help them see themselves clearly. Did you guys need me to repeat any of those points? Okay, what are your thoughts around this one? Who have you invited into your life, or who do you trust to give you feedback on yourself? Hi, Rona.
I don't know how to.
Oh, you want to mute yourself
I don't know how.
to get on the screen?
Am I muted?
No?
You can hear me?
Yes.
Oh shit, can you see me? Please tell me.
No, we cannot.
Please tell me. You can see me?
No, we cannot.
Okay, good. Okay. Well, I guess that would be the first person that came to my mind was honestly you. You have held me accountable. We've had very candid conversations, and you've given me a lot of great advice to think about and adjustments to make in my life to when I am having uncomfortable or difficult conversations with another professional. Honestly, you were the first person that came to my mind.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.
Okay. Who else has thoughts around this? How you can do this better? Who else you can invite into your life, or someone that helps you with this?
I have a thought. I was just thinking sometimes it's not always about who you hang out with, but it's who to let go of. You know, as we grow, I think we get in our own funnels and our little bubbles, and we stop listening to outside people. So it's really important to, one, not be the smartest person in the room, not always reflecting off the same people, but kind of reaching outside of your circle to find other people that have the same value and growth and vision that you have that might help excel you forward.
100%. That is such a perfect point. It is ensuring that you don't stay in your bubble of the people that think the way that you've always thought, right, Brittany? Thank you for bringing that up. And Brittany actually is an amazing agent and an amazing mama in Virginia. So if you guys ever have real estate needs in Virginia, that is where she's located.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. Everybody have an action item around this? One or multiple people that you're going to invite into your world to tell you the truth. 1 to 3, next 7 days. Easy conversation. You can share gratitude with them for who they are, right? So that's something that you can do just in the beginning of the conversation. And whether they're local to you or whether they're distant from you, you can just ask them, what does it take going into 2026 for me to have you in my life more often? Because I trust your opinion and I want you to tell me where my blind spots are. All right, number 7, legacy over likes. In a world obsessed with applause, legacy leaders play the long game. They're not chasing validation. They're building something that lasts beyond them. Here are the 3 points on that one. Popularity fades. Purpose endures. Number 2, choose depth over noise. Number 3, you can't please everyone, but you can live aligned with your calling. And the key insight around this is legacy is built through daily obedience, not public recognition. So if you just wake up, pray, read the word, surround yourself with people that are going to tell you the truth, and then take the next right step in alignment with your calling, you're going to have the impact you were created to. The key takeaway on this one was focus on impact over impression. Your character will always speak louder than your platform. So how you actually show up with people will 100% always speak louder over time than what people think of you temporarily because of any platform. All right, what were your thoughts around this one? Or do you need me to repeat anything?
I have some thoughts on that. And I've actually been in a lot of deep conversations and prayer on this exact topic. And so I think another quality of realtors, other than being really chatty, is that often we are people pleasers and we will bend over backwards for other people and maybe not take care of ourselves. And I think that chasing validation, that look, we can be so good and do that, is a little bit ego. And the way for us to fix the ego is to be selfish, which sounds indicative or whatever, but it's not. Like if we kind of step back from enabling other people for bad behavior or whatever, like, oh, we'll just let you, we'll let you, that you need to like reel that in. That is chasing validation by trying to over please and let them walk all over you. So it's just been like a really interesting topic this week about reeling your ego in and putting yourself first, it's kind of a crazy thought if you're in that space. So
I'm only going to spend 1 minute on this, but you brought this up, Britt. So one very important thing to remember is a lot of times the people pleasing, and they talked about that actually, because both John and Mark, his CEO, both are recovering people pleasers. So they actually have someone else in the company that does all of their hiring and training for them now, because they will try to save people, as many of you will, or many of you will go above and beyond for clients. And the purpose of this is just to go deep in relationships, and you cannot truly value other people if you don't value yourself. And many times you are seeking false validation if you're going above and beyond in ways that don't really make sense. And when you set standards and you actually hold people accountable, you get to work with and serve people that are the people that you want to work with and serve, because they actually respect you and want to work with you then.
And the people that you're not setting boundaries with, when you do set boundaries, it can actually strengthen that relationship if it's worth strengthening.
If it's the right person.
Because they respect you more and you're respecting them more by not enabling whatever you're enabling. So it kind of can help some relationships. Don't waste your time on everything.
I love that. And for number 7, it was really going deep on, hey, it doesn't matter how many people like you on social media. How do you show up in person to people, and how do you follow through with people or not, right? So your action item around this needs to be around, how are you obeying what God wants you to do in every relationship that you come across throughout your days, right? And just making sure that you're living in alignment with the legacy He created you for today, and then the next day, and then the next day. And that you're consistently looking at that for yourself. And it's a habit of review. We're going to go through these 3 fast because I don't want to leave anything out for you. And then we'll come back to what stood out to you to wrap up the hour, because I want to be respectful of everyone's time. Number 8, collaboration multiplies capacity. The greatest leaders don't strive to be the best in the room. They build the best room. When you empower others, you multiply results. Collaboration requires humility and trust. Great leaders ask better questions and celebrate collective wins. So there's a lot of togetherness thing going on when they were talking about this one. And being someone who creates togetherness is actually a gift in many different ways right now in our world. So when you make that a part of everything you do, of creating togetherness and bringing people together, it's going to cause you to stand out, and it's actually going to grow other leaders. Key insight here is true power is shared power. And the takeaway is legacy leaders don't compete, they complete. They complete each other. They don't compete with each other. All right, number 9. Y'all write your action item down. Remember, we're going to come back to your takeaways on these 3 to wrap up the time. Number 9, adversity reveals assignment. Your pain is often preparation for your purpose. Every storm carries a lesson meant to shape your leadership for the next level. Resistance reveals what matters most. Number 2, how you respond under pressure defines your influence. Number 3, adversity doesn't destroy leaders, it develops them. And what's the opposite of that? If someone experiences a lot of adversity and chooses not to grow, they're probably not someone that needs to be leading whatever that is, right? If they choose not to grow and develop from it. Key insight, the very challenge meant to break you may be the one God uses to build you. Takeaway, your story becomes someone else's survival guide. Don't waste your wilderness. And this came up like 4 times in the 3 hours.
Can you repeat that? That was strong.
Your story becomes someone else's survival guide. Don't waste your wilderness. Okay. Anybody need me to repeat anything from that one? I know, Brittany, right? So right. Number 10, gratitude sustains greatness. The most magnetic leaders lead with gratitude. They remember where they came from, honor those who helped them rise, and stay humble enough to keep learning. Number 1, gratitude guards your heart against entitlement. Number 2, it keeps joy alive even in hard seasons. Number 3, grateful leaders attract loyalty and peace. Gratitude turns success into stewardship, a way to honor God through how you lead others. And the takeaway here is gratitude is the oxygen of legacy. It breathes life into every leader, team, and vision. All right, what were your takeaways from 8 through 10? What stood out to you, or what action item did you have?
I feel like the story is really important, and a story of gratitude that you have that you can share with others, that you're leading. A lot of people remember the story more than, just action items, or they just remember your story, and they can relate to some part of it usually, or maybe not, but it still is impactful the way it's explained, because it's your life, it's what you already lived, and you show gratefulness that you came out of it, or whatever the situation is. And I just feel like stories are huge when you're talking to people and trying to lead, because people remember stories if they don't remember anything.
And I mean, one of the things I love, and I know Brittany was excited when we were talking about how God uses the things that happen too, right? And one of the things I know about most of you, and I'm sure is true of everyone here, is everyone has a story that can be used to make an impact for others, right? So I love what you're saying, Leslie. You absolutely do have a story that can continue to make a difference for others, and I know you already use it. So thank you for speaking up and for being here and for being used by God the way that you were designed to.
Thank you.
What else stood out to you guys from 8 to 10? Leslie, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Sandra.
All right. Well, you guys have action items down minimally for 8 to 10, because I'm just going to wrap it up and then be thinking about what your top aha is from the whole thing, and type it in the chat what your top takeaway or action item is. And don't forget, leadership is not about climbing higher, it's about digging deeper. And when you dig deep, you build long-term relationships that can cause you to be able to have an impact on the legacy for those people. It's about influence anchored in integrity, service, rooted in faith, and courage guided by purpose. And when you live by these 10 legacy leader principles, you don't just lead others, you awaken greatness in them. You begin to understand that your leadership is a calling, not a career. Your platform is a responsibility, not a reward. And your legacy is built through everyday choices, not once in a lifetime moments. So you can choose to start living your legacy today. So lead with love, serve with strength, and let every word, every decision, and every act of generosity point back to the source of it all. because great leaders build people, but legacy leaders build eternity. All right, let's read your takeaways real quick because I'm so excited to hear what you got from this conversation. All right. Adversity reveals assignment. Reminds me of God only uses broken things. Amen to that, Britt. I'm going to be very well used. All right. And then gratitude keeps you alive in hard seasons. And Nicole, building deeper connections to lead from a higher level. Love that. Anybody want to come off mute real quick and share what your top takeaway was or any excitements you have around the time that you've been here today?
I liked how when you said adversity doesn't destroy us, it develops us. That one resonated with me a lot.
Awesome. I love that so much. And you have a really powerful story. So we're all very well developed here. Yes.
Amen.
We just get to use it and not hold it back. Be a fountain, not a drain. Love that. Anyone else? Okay. Well, thank you guys for being here. Remember, we have a Monday reset call inside the collaborative that is free every single Monday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern, that you're welcome to be a part of. Celebrate your wins inside the closed Facebook group on Wednesdays. Always celebrate the area that you focus on, anything that's working in your business inside the Facebook group. And then don't forget, I do have a couple of one-on-one elite coaching spots remaining between now and the end of the year. The most I'm going to take at any one time is 15. So if you want to do a 1 hour free deep dive to figure out if you are a candidate for that, just direct message me and we will talk about it. You guys have a great rest of your week. I hope that this started it off awesome. Oh, hi, Cass. I'm glad I got to see your beautiful face. And let me know if I can do anything to serve you at all. And let me know if there's any specific topics you want to see here. Love you guys.